Hey everyone, Andy here. You're about to listen to some good shit from us here at Drag the Lake. I wanted to make this intro because I don't exactly know what I'm going to label this, but I don't want to make it misleading. So I don't want you to think this is a straight up review of the new Wonder Years album, but we do talk a lot about the new Wonder Years album. We're three comics. We hopped on. And it just turns into a fucking fun ass podcast. So we do a lot of talking about the Wonder Years. We do a lot of talking about pop punk, emo, all this other shit. Then we go off on tangents here and there. But either way, if you're here for some reviews, which we will have more obviously coming up, we're going to talk about Slipknot and shit later like that. But if you're looking for a straight up review, that's not what this is. This is a fun fucking podcast where the Wonder Years get brought up constantly. We find out there's a lot of good shit in here. We talk about a lot of stuff. We find out John's a criminal and he should be, tracked by the FBI for doing some pretty bad stuff. So go listen to this podcast. Listen to this discussion. It's a good fucking time. And also go check out John's podcast, Handsome Idiots. It's pretty fucking good. I've never listened to it. Don't even know what his co-host's voice sounds like, but I know for a fact it's John Montague, handsome man, Philly's own, one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. Would leave my wife for him. He's very handsome. Go check out his podcast and listen to this and watch this and do all the fucking shit. I love you all. Bye-bye. Welcome to a brand new episode of Drag the Lake. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Malafrina, joined as always with the very special
John Montague.
No. It's
Wait,
you.
I'm very special?
It's you, you dickhead.
Hey, I'm Pat, guys. Welcome to Drag the Lake. And that's Andy over there.
Nah, I got a tier of specialness being stated in my head, and the much more special than that piece of shit Pat.
There we go.
Everyone give it up for the very lovely John Montague. John, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys?
No, isn't it Montague?
Montague. No, you nailed it. Nailed it.
Oh, yeah, it's spelled.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like
Montague said.
You're like, no fucking. That's right, because I saved you on my phone in like big giant letters, MON-TAG. Say that handsome son of a bitch's name right.
Just like, I'm glad you saved it that instead of just like loser dork. And if I ever text you, you're like, I'm not gonna answer this one.
Loser dork idiot John Montague's here.
Loser dork 69.
Loser dork idiot John Montague. How's it going, loser dork?
How's it going, you loser?
we got him actually. By the way, I just want to say this. Starting out the show, we got Montague right in the heat of a birds match happening right now, right here, live in front of us, and we are blessed to have you here to talk about. Wait. What are we here to talk about, Andy?
John. So we got about 70% of John right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
like 50-50.
No, to be fair, though, this is
I'm
an
not
episode.
100% of me today. So,
so
you're getting about 12% of me, but there's only 30% of me total today. So,
oh, that's fair enough. Well, we talked. Well, I think this is a whole episode of fractions of a percent because I had a whole Airbnb snafu. Pat, you're just dog shit.
Yeah, I'm just here existing. I'm here handing out shitty links. We're all fucking up today, dude.
Yeah, it's just it's everyone's a nightmare. But
I blame hurricane season.
Right. Let's just put it all on Ian. The fucking Ian's fucking putting the pH off. Retrograde is doing something. Mercury's doing some retrograde shit.
Is it a full moon? Yeah. Oh, Hocus Pocus 2 came out. I mean, I'm all flustered.
I thought I time traveled for a minute there.
But let's hop into why we brought John here. And there's a new album out, and we're excited to talk about it. We're gonna talk about The Hum Goes On Forever by the Wonder Years. And you may ask, why'd you bring John on? Well, John, although he sort of is very handsome, looks like he would do pranks on the kids who listen to the Wonder Years. John is actually a low-key pop punk emo sad boy. And I saw this album come out and I immediately said, Pat, we gotta get John. John, how long you been? Because this is actually a thing I kind of want to throw out there at the beginning of doing this review. I don't feel like a lot of people do this, but it's like good to give context to like how often you've been listening to this band and how what's your history with the Wonder Years, John?
It's funny because like they're one that has been I've been along for the ride since the beginning. Like I think I'm the same age as most of the people in the band. They're from the Philadelphia area, so like I caught wind early of them, and like when Get Stoked on It was out, their original, like the one that they buried, the album that they don't want anyone to hear anymore. And then like
Oh,
as every album,
not to
no,
cut
no,
you
you're
off,
good.
but I was literally I ended up being at the show where they were like, we are not playing it anymore after tonight.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple songs off Get Stoked on It that they would play a lot that were really good. And then there was some songs from that EP. I forget what it was called, but it started with like Mike Kennedy's A Bad Friend, and then whatever that other song, whatever the other three songs are. And they had some really good songs. It was a shame they don't really play them anymore. But I was at the show at Starland Ballroom where they were playing I forget what the fuck it was. It was the last song on that EP, and they were like, "This is the last night. After tonight, we do not acknowledge anything before the upsides."
It's amazing. Like they just buried it, and that was like some people's like intro to. Like you can't get it on iTunes anymore. I think it's barely on Spotify.
No, they put out. So what they did is it's still on there, but they gave it a shell of their current vibe.
Yeah.
So there's that album with the fucking van on the side of the road. It has their current vibe of like we fucking wear cardigans and glasses and we're sad, but don't worry, you can still hear our Kool-Aid Man songs.
Yeah, it's not goofball shit anymore. This is serious business.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what was like when you were asking how long I've been listening to them. It's like it's been funny and corny, but it's like as they shifted as a band, it's kind of coincides with like as I just grew up because it was like 17, 18, 19 years old when I started listening to them. And it's just goofy shit about, like you said, Mr. Kool-Aid, like Captain Crunch in the song. So I was like, yeah, I just want like goofball shit. Then it like graduated into like on all like the suburbia and everything. It was like questions about you're in your early 20s and you don't know who you want to be. And I'm like, oh, I'm going through that shit too.
Yeah.
And then it progressed to like the lead singer getting married right around the same time that I think I got engaged and got married. And then
I got
the
proposed.
Last two
albums.
I was
going to say I got proposed.
Yeah, I got proposed. I got proposed.
When I got proposed, that it was like the same time I got proposed.
It was like this, like this casement, dude.
I was just like, "Fuck yeah, I'll marry you, bitch. Go Birds."
Yeah, dude, God from the Wonder Years did it. Why not me?
Hey, John. Here's my
so hard to
follow-up.
not sound like a dickhead with all Eagles gear on at the same time. I'm dressed like I'm at the game. I'm watching it by myself at home.
You're there right here.
No, I feel that. Now here's my follow-up question, John. Are you in the Wonder Years? Because it's starting It's starting to feel like you're in the Wonder Years.
So I might be. It's also one of those things where like if I'm lost in enough substances, I start to get in my head and I'm like, this is basically just my what's it called? What's the name's movie? I'm drawing a blank.
Red Dragon.
No, yeah, Red Dragon. Jim Carrey stuck in the dome. What the hell?
Truman Show. Called? Yeah.
Truman Show. It's one of those things where I'm
The Grinch.
All right, the Grinch. Yes. I'm sledding down a hill and I got a little dog and a bunch of presents and it's just weird.
In here, right?
But no, it's like I'm like, is this my Truman Show? Like so many of these things line up too much. But then I'm like, also, it's just a dude who's the same age as me who grew up in suburbs. Like it's easy to live the same life as a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
and then you start to realize I've had that plenty of time where you're like, whoa, something deeper is happening right now. And then you start looking deeper in yourself and you're like, whoa, I'm not as special as I thought.
Yeah. Turns out I'm just literally the same as everyone around me.
Whoa, you dudes got those feelings too?
Wait a minute. Wait, you're trying to say when you drink too much, you're sad? No fucking way, dude.
I don't know, dude. Never drank too much.
Yeah.
But no, so basically because I think this is a big reason why I brought you in on this one, because you've been locked in with the Wonder Years the whole time, right?
Yeah. It's weird. Like I got into them when I was still really into like going to local shows and like finding like the newest music. And then I fell out of that for like my early to mid 20s. I didn't give a shit. I was like, I'll listen to the same stuff. But like if they put something out, I'd listen to it. I wasn't really going to shows. Then now, like in my 30s where I'm back into going to shows again, like they're kind of the only, like, them and a few other bands are the ones that I want to see when they come around.
Yeah.
Like, I just missed the Get Up Kids in Philly the other night. That would have been one that's like, you know, I think it was the Wonder Years became like the perfect mix of like me being like a pop punk nerd and like an indie rock nerd too at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that, like Get Up Kids, like New
Yeah.
Amsterdam's, and then like Newfound Glory was in the other side. And then those like kind of crossroaded at like the Wonder Years is goofy, but also like heartfelt and serious. So it's pretty cool. Like
the Wonder Years was in sort of that like pop punk emo space. The Wonder Years was the start of like a thing I'm noticing a lot more now, and I'm really liking, where you listen to the Wonder Years and you're like, oh, they liked, they like Newfound Glory, but they also really like Death Cab or some shit like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so you start hearing this mesh of multiple styles, and because if you listen
non-offensive music, very non-offensive, you know what I mean? Like it was very like, oh,
Cat just almost she jumped and like threw a quick little like karate kick at my phone midair.
Cat's outfit.
That adds to my sad boy emo lifestyle. I have a cat
that doesn't approve of you.
Yeah, 2 cats just wandering around my home, and I'm drinking water out of a can.
Liquid Death, bro. Look at this. Liquid Death Bros. Huh?
I'm drinking seltzer out of a can. Liquid Death, not to give a free ad out, but they're killing it with the seltzer game.
It is incredible. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. So you've been locked in for most of the time. I think for me, I remember they were big for me in college, and then afterward, you know what it was? Actually, part of the reason I fell out of the Wonder Years was it was 2 reasons.
Indigestion.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys ready to rock?
The Wonder Years are the chicken parm of music in my book.
Oh yeah, no, that's a perfect analogy. You're always you can always go back to them.
Yeah.
They're always they're a good staple.
But they never hit the same like they did the first time.
Right.
No, but I remember when Suburbia came out, it was good, but it also came out when I was going through like a breakup, and then to also have like these sad songs, you can't help but like associate that a little bit. And then because I was always the sad boy emo kid, but I was like, this sucks though. Can we like not be sad? And then I remember when the 3rd album came out. Well, technically the 4th, but the 3rd that they acknowledged, that's in Wonder Years canon. When that one came out, I forget which one it was. Was it Greatest Generation? I think.
Yeah.
When
that was another tug at your heart album.
Well, I remember listening to it because I was younger and like all my emotions were tied towards music. I was like, whatever you guys say, that's how I feel. So like, they're like, and then when fucking The Greatest Generation came out, I was like, oh, so we're just sad all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
we're trying to make this better.
No way, we're same sad.
Like, why are we still bitching about this? Are we going to try to make this better or something? Is there programs we can go to?
First off, you started this whole thing off with saying I'm not sad anymore, and I'm 3 albums in, and I think you're lying.
Yeah,
dude, I do love one of the things, and this can segue into the newest album. One of the things they do great is, and this could be even a comedy thing, they're amazing at callbacks in their songs.
Oh,
like they'll reference old songs and old lyrics in newer songs, and I love that's the kind of shit that anymore. Like I am a sucker for that kind of stuff. I used to think it was like just completely like a music hack. But
you probably get a fucking hard on when he's like, me and Tony on 35th Street. Like you're supposed to be like,
yes,
I know that pizza shop, and it's like, no, that's actually
speaking of references.
Dude, the new album has a whole song about pretty much the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna say, there's a song on the new album called "Oldest Daughter." You have a daughter, John.
So, dude, I might be in the band. I think I am. I haven't seen any money yet.
There's a song called
just plugged into my brain.
2. Is that like a reference to Cardinals 1? Is that a sequel?
Well, no. So here's another thing. Cardinals came out, and then my dad passed, and then I looked into like the meaning of Cardinals, and Cardinals are supposed to represent the ones you've lost. So now I have like another emotional connection to a fucking song. And the whole time I'm a comic trying to make fun of myself for like, I'm like, yo, pussy, why are you crying to music? Like,
dude, that's actually damn. That is a very conflicting lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I'm gonna listen to sad boy emo pop punk, but also be a comic. So you're constantly getting like emotional and then being like, why are you being a bitch?
Yo, you're a pussy, dude. today. So in prep for this, I listened to the newest album while running in the rain, which viewer and listener, I would recommend because no one can see you crying on all the sad songs.
Recommended listening. You normally you say listen in the car,
Headphones.
listen, on headphones. This one, listen on headphones while running
In the rain
That's
after a breakup
preferably
or
to
loss of
an
a loved
ex-lover's
one.
house.
Well, that's a
Well,
good.
no, because they said like you were saying the oldest daughter thing. The other song on there, Wyatt's song, I have my daughter is like in between the singer's two kids' ages. So like he wrote this song and released it, and like I'm playing it for my wife, and I'm like, this is all the stuff I thought when our daughter was born. It was like it literally like the song talks about digging glass out of the garden.
This is all
I
the
don't
stuff
want you
I
to cut your
thought when
foot
our
when you
daughter
run.
was born.
Dude, it's again, he's hitting too many things that like I dug glass out of my shitty garden when we bought this house and had our daughter because I was like, oh, one day I don't want you to slice your foot on this shit. Like we find nails, and I think the last homeowners were very bad people, but
New Jersey. It's
yeah, true. Statistically.
It's a war zone.
But yeah, so there's too many parallels that get me super horny.
They get you wet up here.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a song called
They get my heart wet.
They're gonna have a song called John Montague. Stop sending me letters, please, please.
Wait, do you want to hear even more?
I am not your looper.
That one's not going to register with him. That one, that's not going to resonate with him. He's going to be like, I don't really get this one. This one's
so to add even more.
I don't have any stalkers.
That one's gonna go over his head.
All right, to add even more to the stalker allure of this podcast, I know that the singer Dan lives a town over from where I live. Just because on like Instagram he would post stuff and it's like at the local high school football game. I'm like, oh, the Garnets. I know it's what team that is.
I drive past there and look at them.
So
wait.
So you know what time the lights in his bedroom turn off.
Yeah, I know where his kids go to preschool. Like,
I know what kind of trash he has. You guys know the usual.
So hear me out. Listen to this. This is
all
things
when I go on a run. Sometimes I black out when I go on a run.
Hear me out. His son's in my basement. Hear me out.
He's not held captive, but you know,
he can leave.
But so this is a town like my daughter goes to daycare in that town. Anyway, the one day I drop my daughter off at daycare, I go to Starbucks. It's my
that town's
routine.
like fucking 20 miles away.
Yeah, on accident, close. Yeah.
John's just like, I know you're
so
going.
I take a helicopter.
You're going there.
But
You're
listen,
gonna marry his kid, and it's gonna be great.
I know his name's Wyatt. There's a song named after him.
Just look for the first kid named Wyatt. God damn it! And she's just crying. And he's like, I need this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Which meant to be. They wrote these songs for me.
I don't know if we're making it worse or better, but I want to actually know.
I'm not even done the story yet.
This album's good. Whatever. Anyway, John, you're weird.
So then I go to Starbucks and I'm waiting at the like mobile pickup, and I look over and I'm like, hey, Dan, it's the fucking singer from the Wonder Years just standing there. And he's got a mask on, so it kind of looked like him. And he's like, yeah, what's up, man? And we start talking. He goes, halfway through, he goes, oh, dude, I thought you were a guy named George from the band Valencia. You remember that band? And I was like, oh, I do. Like, we were talking about, like,
we're like friends.
Fan. So, dude, the conversation was so funny because in the beginning of it, I literally just said, I was like, hey, man, big fan of, like, everything you put out. And he's like, oh, thank you. And then he just starts talking. He's like, so you from around here? I tell him the town I live in. He's like, we were going to buy a house there. Then he and I are literally just talking about like houses for sale on the market and like the price of like down payments on homes in our town. I'm like, all right, this just took a way too weird turn.
And John's just like, so like, what's your address? Like, what, I mean, like, how'd you, like, how much did you spend on your house? Like, what's your address, your neighborhood?
I'm talking about it, but inside I want to be like, hey man, can I tell you about all the parallels between your music and my life?
Hey, can I break down why I'm your looper?
Is why. Just 1 second, real quick, while you're sipping your coffee there. Can I just ask how Wyatt's doing?
Hey, 1 second, real quick. I just take his coffee and I smell it. I'm like, hazelnut. I knew it, and I just hand it back to him.
I knew it.
You should drink his coffee. Hopefully now I'll write like you.
I run over to the register and I'm like, quick, tell me what he ordered.
So is that how you found out that he lived like one town over? Is you followed him?
No, I already knew before that. And then I had to play it cool like I didn't know that.
You had to pretend like you didn't know everything about him?
No way. No way.
Yeah.
Well, that's a weird thing too, though, because I think about it all the time. Like, you think about the podcast you listen to and everything, you know everything about Theo Von's life, and Theo Von has never even seen your face, like that kind of thing. Like, it's a weird thing where I'm like, I know
Yeah.
too much about this person, and now that person's right there, and this guy thought I was someone else. Like,
It'd be
so
great
I'm
too if
George
you
now,
got
by
his
the way. I just
coffee.
go by George.
It'd be great too if you got his coffee order perfectly right.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you got a venti, 2 cream, 1 sugar, or well, that's everyone's order. This joke
You
stinks.
sang
Anyway.
about that in Low Tide. Remember? Remember that song Low Tide? You mentioned it.
Good. Yeah.
So yeah, we are sending the cops to your house, John. That's actually why
Yeah.
we wanted to do this.
Please do. It's to the point where like I needed to self-report probably to the police to be like, hey, I think I'm accidentally becoming a stalker.
So I was saying earlier, like around Greatest Generation with the whole like, oh, so you guys are still being sad about everything. And it kind of like,
Yeah.
I
Oh
was
no
like,
way, you got pop-ups that die too?
wait a minute, your pop-ups die when they're old too?
Oh no way, dude.
I got I don't want to have stolen pop-up valor. I never called him that. I remember when I heard it the first time, I was like, you call him what? All right.
Yeah.
Mama made sense because that's still, but no, I guess
Yeah.
pop makes sense. Whatever. Anyway,
None of it makes sense.
Philly's a nightmare of a city. But no, so the thing with this album is I was actually because I was like, oh, we'll listen to it. I used to listen to the Wonder Years. John listens. It'll be like a good conversation. I might shit on it a little bit or whatever, and we'll have sort of conflicting opinions. But then I started listening to it, and I was like, oh, the big thing that got me back into them with this album is the fact that whatever they kind of like lost on those middle albums, it feels like they're bringing it back. And I think to go along with, you know, they're always going on about being sad and all this shit. And then when I was digging deeper into like the lyrical content, you realize a lot of this is about his son and shit. You're almost like,
yeah,
oh, maybe he's like not sad anymore for real this time.
Well, now it's like it's shifted to it's the sadness has turned into uncertainty. And like that's a weird shift that I think I went through in like my 20s where like if I was depressed about something, that's gone away now. Now it's more of like my anxiety is like I'm uncertain. I'm like, am I doing the right things as a dad? Am I like
Yeah.
am I work like trying to work enough as a comic? And it's like uncertain about things. And it's kind of like it's cool to like hear someone else is doing that. It's fucked up like that too.
Well, because that's the big thing I hear when you become a parent is like, you know, you love your kids, it's fulfilling, it's always that thing where it's like it's hard, but it's also like, you know, it's the best decision of my life, yada yada yada, yada yada, blah blah blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're growing up into be a real person. Who cares? Whatever, shut up. But no, it is that thing of like you're never like once you have kids, you're never fully like relaxed like you were before you had a kid.
Yeah. And it is like your new level of relaxed is like a different someone would see you and you're like, yeah, I'm just hanging out. You're like, no, man, you're running around frantically right now. You're like, no, this is my new normal. This is just what I do. Like the fact that I'm sitting here right now is planned around a nap, basically.
Yeah.
So, no, it is. And it's insane too, because I was thinking about I did a show, I did a wedding last night. Sorry. Did comedy at a wedding. And in one of my jokes, I talked about having a kid. No, like I got hired to do comedy at a wedding. It went really well, surprisingly. Yeah.
What point? What, like beginning, middle, end of the service?
So this was an interesting wedding. I was going to talk about it tonight on my podcast too. So tune in to Handsome Idiot if you want the full story.
You got that plug.
But yeah, there it is. I know what I'm doing.
White supremacy.
It was as I blank on the rest of the story. It was like a second wedding kind of. So it was like a fun. They did it at like a brewery, and it was mostly just their friends and hanging out. And they did it. I told the guy who was having it, he's a friend I haven't seen in a while. I was like, look, comedy, like surprise comedy can be really good, but most of the time when comedy's happening and people don't know it's happening, it is fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So luckily with this, I asked him too, I was like, do you want to bring another comic? Like I can have some, like me and another comic do 10 minutes each. And he's like, no, you know, we're kind of pressed for time. So the best man and the maid of honor, matron or whatever she was, did their toast. And then that was kind of like, it was almost like the perfect warm up for a 15-minute set. Cause like they got like everyone sitting and paying attention and laughing, and like it was kind of a good
They were
setup.
like your
So I was like,
openers. Yeah.
yeah, we got to stop doing comedy with comedians. We just got to do it with people doing wedding toast at comedy clubs.
We should have an open mic, just a 2-slot open mic right before all of our sets.
But it all has to be toast that you wrote for a wedding.
Yeah, toast to a loved one.
I'm gonna start doing that at open mics. Just start giving toast for weddings I'll never get invited to. Like the guy Dan from the Wonder Years.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. I could bring like an opener, like Dan from like the Wonder Years.
Yeah, I know this guy.
And you're just like, dude, I got you a gig,
point.
bro.
That'd be great if at Starbucks you were like, oh, that's crazy, Dan. Do you need a comedian for anything you're doing, like a wedding or whatever? You might need a comic on the new album, right?
Dude, if you don't think that was where my brain went for the rest of the day, like I was just like, all right, how can I parlay this into a lifelong friendship?
That's always the best way friendships start. If one of the people is like, all right, how do I make this organically happen?
I have to force this.
What was your
wait? Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. You're gonna say something
go.
way better. I was gonna go on another tangent.
Oh,
so to top off seeing him, I then was driving home and down like we live in Patsy, like a little main street a block away from my house, and I see this family walking, and I was like, oh shit, that wigger looks like Chase Utley. And then I get 2 blocks later, and he walks up to the light, and I'm like, oh no, that guy's even got a cast on his hand, the same as Chase Utley had. And then the next light up, I'm like, oh, that's just Chase Utley and his family. So I saw.
Now he's just following him up each block. He's just like, wait a second. Chase Utley, that guy stares at me when I'm following him, just like Chase Utley.
Like
you get to a point, you're like, oh my god, he has the same
scream as
Chase Utley.
He has the same couch as in Chase Utley's house. Oh, I'm in Chase Utley's house.
Holy shit, he's going into Chase Utley's house right now.
What? This guy's. Oh, I wait here. I also.
Oh my god, this looks exactly like Chase Utley's closet.
I just messed up the whole story. We just went on a riff there. It wasn't even Chase Utley. It was Bryce Harper.
Oh, same thing, right?
It's the same guy.
He feels
Chase
like
Utley was my early Wonder Years. Bryce Harper is my new album.
Oh,
well, no, isn't Bryce Harper like he's like the current Chase Utley? Because like Chase Utley, Chase Utley
that's
was
why
like he was like the dude then. Bryce Harper's like the dude now.
Yes. So I could have also said Mickey Morandini would have been the same boat. Maybe not. That was a bad example.
So with all this, with all these Philly people you actively stalk,
yeah, the universe is making me stalk them. I don't want to.
Do you and you grew up sort of in the Philly area your whole life, right?
Yeah, like suburbs of South Jersey, but it's like you can see the Philly skyline from my house. Yeah,
South Jersey's basically Philly, right?
It is. And even another segue back, Dan on the new album has references to living in South Jersey and it not being that bad.
You live there.
Well,
yeah.
That's
I stalk there too.
John, can we talk about the album? I don't want you to get arrested.
Oh,
Jesus
shit.
Christ, dude.
You are incriminating yourself.
You keep being like, oh, let me tell you what kind of mower he owns.
Like, you know what it was crazy what he put on this morning. I couldn't even believe. I don't have the courage to wear something like that.
And you know what? I gotta say, it's a little awkward, but I love when he kisses me in the morning when I'm wearing his wife as a suit.
See, I knew it. I knew there was going to be a catch. You're in his house right now, aren't you?
Yeah. Hey, shut up. Shut up.
Wait a minute. Are you Dan's wife? Is that what happened?
Yeah. I just take the hat off, my hair flows down.
I was gonna say, like, as a dude who's been living in and around Philly your whole life, I got to imagine like the Wonder Years is like a very unique as a band, just like a very unique experience for you because you kind of don't. Because here's the thing, like Wonder Years definitely started like that whole, even though they're from Philly. They are a huge part. I don't know why it's called Midwest emo. I haven't looked into it like that, but they were I feel like they were a big part in the beginning of Midwest emo.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of
they have
that general where it's like it's not sad. It's sad, but it's not that like gothy sad that emo can get to.
Right.
But the point
it's real life sad.
Yeah, but the point I was making, or it's I got nothing to do in the suburbs. What should I be sad about? Sad.
It's suburb sad. That's exactly what it is.
That's what it's
like. I think it pulls no punch, and it's like nobody's addressing that. The plight of the suburban man.
Right. Like, we got it hard too.
I got plights.
I got a few plates out here, baby. Yeah. You know, I'm not too good to have a plate.
Don't you hate it
things
when
are going
the
good, but not all the time.
trash pickup comes by and leaves your garbage can on the side?
Yeah. Hey, I had to scoop a dead squirrel out of my front yard the other night. That wasn't too fun.
You find out your Abercrombie shirt's not in style anymore. There's plight, man.
Yeah.
There's
Did you
plight.
Turns out the V is too deep on my V-neck now. Didn't know.
Did you leave that dead squirrel in Dan's bed just for fun, just for like a gift?
Oh, I did. Yeah. Yeah. I dressed it up as I dressed it up as the bass player from the band. And,
You dressed it up as a reference to another one of his songs.
Remember that one you have called Squirrel Death? Yeah.
Remember?
It's a B-side.
That's so funny. But yeah, this band has to be like for like dudes like you growing up in Philly, it has to be like a very it's like a specific experience almost.
Well, and it was weird. It was weird because they're from like outside like the Lansdale area, I think like Doylestown. So like that scene wasn't like in the South Jersey indie rock scene. So it was like you heard about them when I went to college. So it was a year after Get Stoked On It came out, I think. And then like I said before, I was kind of getting out of it, but some people went that route where they're like, no, I'm still just tough guy hardcore. I don't listen to any of that type of shit. Like,
yeah.
And then it's the same dudes were listening to Newfound Glory when they're on their own. Like, you're like, no, you have feelings too. Like, It's not all just I bleed for my brothers and I'll die for everyone that looks like me kind of thing. Like,
we all have the same tattoos, and I will literally kill anyone that says anything bad to those guys who all have the same tattoos as me.
Do not dishonor my brothers. My brothers will bleed for me. I'm gonna do mine.
We all have a cover up of a straight edge tattoo because we made some life choices at 17 that didn't last.
Oh fuck! What was I gonna say?
Sorry, I got you on another tangent.
No, I got deep into that. No, because that is a thing. That is a thing where it's like, I know for me, I never acknowledged. Like, I remember being in elementary school, being like, you know what, I like NSYNC, but I'll die before people find out I like NSYNC. And that is, and like, I remember hearing the dude from Dashboard Confessional. He was saying whenever he does shows in like those, those towns that have like, good hardcore scenes, whether it be like Philly or Chicago or whatever, he's like, he's like, he'll do his shows and then he'll look off side stage and there's just like mad hardcore dudes. Cause it isn't just like I'm a fucking tough guy all the time. People like that emotional shit as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to the point too with that where I'm like, I've said it before on our podcast, like I'm done acting like I don't like things that I like. Like I'm going to love Justin Long movies for the rest of my life. Like everything doesn't have to be like crazy artistic and thoughtful. Like I'm going to like shitty pop punk. Like I'm still going to listen to Neck Deep all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm going to listen to like stuff that I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, I enjoy it. I'm done. Care. Like if you don't, whatever. You guys talked about Slipknot earlier. I got back into Slipknot recently after seeing them, and I'm like, yeah, they're pretty awesome. Like,
well, that's also what's the fucking term? Not like a misnomer, but that's like a false. There's this falsehood put out there that Slipknot like was bad at any point, and then you like go bad, and you're like, no, they rip pretty hard most of the time.
Yeah, I think it was once Hot Topic got a hold of anything, everyone that thought that they were like in a scene was like, it's not cool anymore. Like,
yeah,
you still listen to My Chemical Romance? Shut up, like.
Yeah, and then like it's something about the clown masks, because that was what it was for me originally. I remember something about the clown mask. I just like easily dismissed them on that. But then like I remember the older I got, I dug deeper into their shit, and I was like, Slipknot rules pretty hard.
Well, it's too many times like the fans of a band will ruin the band for me, and then I'll finally go back and listen to them. And I think Slipknot might have been one of those things where it's like, this is getting too juggalo-ish for me. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna tap out, and then you don't listen for a while, and then you go back and you're like, oh, it turns out they're still incredible musicians. Like, eliminate. And then now, when I went and saw them live last time, it's more fun to just watch their fans, like observe them, kind of like in the wild. Just learn to enjoy stuff like that.
Pat, let me ask you this, because we didn't really specify it before, but you essentially have like no experience with the Wonder Years, correct?
Not really. No, just honestly, just through John and you.
Yeah, I think I've shown you some of their stuff before, but because I'm very curious about this, because one thing I was thinking about, so I listened to this album once through, and there was a lot of stuff that sort of stuck out to me, but then there was another part of me that kind of was just like, I was joking before about the constant like I'm a bummer. I'm sad about this shit. I'm da da da. Like that's the constant, and that's like my beef with the Midwest emo shit and all this kind of stuff. Is it's good music, but it is taxing to get through like more than an album of this shit in one sitting. It's like a lot. But then, so I kind of had that vibe on the first listen through where I was like, there's a lot of good shit, but a lot of this is fucking exhausting. But then I started paying more attention to the lyrics, and I'm like, because if you go back to the upsides, like lyrically, it was very literal. He just literally was he wasn't even trying to rhyme half the shit.
Right.
He was
we're
just
hanging out in our living room. We got bike parts on our table, and we're watching wrestling. That was literally entire verse.
I don't like to go to bars. Like he was very literal. But then if you listen, like if you really pay attention to the lyrics, it's very like lyrically. I mean, musically is very well written, but like lyrically, I find it to be very well written. I'm curious, Pat, what's your general, as like someone who doesn't really listen to them, what's your general perspective on this album?
I honestly thought like I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be like it seems like I think what was the thing you called it again? Suburban
Suburban
sad. Like that's what it honestly feels like. Kind of what kind of like Thrice wants to be in a way, like, or what Thrice is trying to be in a way.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like Thrice just comes off so much more brooding and stuff like that. Like you said, this kind of has more of a sense of self-deprecation or like joking about it, but it's also very like I'm not a huge lyrics guy. I don't get into the lyrics a ton, but from my initial listen through, like the first listen through, it was kind of like, that was nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's great. To me, it was great background music, and it was kind of like those things where it wasn't like offensively sappy or anything like that. A lot of times, like when bands do things like, whether it be, it's just genuine. I think that's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Is not even knowing a lot about the band, from the way they executed at least this album, I felt like it was like really genuine. It was a genuine like thing, and even though it may not be my thing, it's like one of those things of like, I can't shit on it. I can't shit on it even a little bit, because it's one of those things that it's not trying to be anything else, and it's not like and it's not forced. So it's kind of like, it just kind of it just seems really natural, and like, and I don't know if it's necessarily that would something that would be in a regular rotation with me, but if it came on, I wouldn't be like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? It doesn't, for being sad or Suburban sad, it doesn't come off as like super sappy.
That's what's hard. Like, they're hard to compare. Like, whenever someone asks, like, what would you compare them to? I can't pick like one band, and I think that's why I like the Wonder Years more.
Right. It's what I think like, Thrice wants to be. Like, they're like, Thrice is not a genuine like product.
I'd say like Real Friends. It's Real Friends adjacent, but it's not as whiny and as sad somehow at the same time. Like,
Real Friends are Real Friends are
there's no band you can totally
they're good, but when you listen to them, you're like, they're kind of trying to go for something.
Yeah. Right.
But
it's like, you got this pill addiction so you could write about.
I actually wanted to say
thank God he did, because it was an incredible album once he got
great
off
art.
the pill.
Yeah. Thank fucking Christ, dude.
I will say, them and the Wonder Years, they do enough describing of like pill bottles to the point, like lyrically, where you're like, oh yeah, I can picture an orange pill bottle collecting dust on a windowsill. You're like, you did a really good job of painting that picture for me. Thanks, Real Friends and the Wonder Years.
Something off what you said, Pat, is so I agree, and John, you were agreeing with this. They are an incredibly genuine band, but I got to be honest, they are not background music for me at this point, because just the general. So they do this thing. I don't know if you could hear it, but they're kind of like the emo pop punk Bad Religion, where they have like 3 guitarists, but they don't really need it, but they still do.
Yeah.
But I think there is a thing, though. I think the way they like blend the chords together, it just creates, it's nothing overtly like a riff that you're hearing, but I think the way that they blend the chords together, it creates like this general energy that for me, so like I said, my first listen, a few songs stuck out, but I wasn't overly like, oh, this is fucking great. But it's when I actually like dug deep into it and was like really reading the lyrics, and it almost felt like the songs feel like a story and stuff like that. So for me, that's when I had the most fun with this album. So for me, this is more of a I'm trying to think, what was the one single? Lost in the Lights, I think was the last video they put out. And then
the old friends like Lost Teeth.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That one has a lot of riffs in it. And it's different. Like it's got like almost like an 80s shred riff almost like feel to it. And that surprised me. I remember listening to it and out loud to myself saying, "Oh shit, the Wonder Years have riffs now?" Like this is amazing.
Yeah. So that song and then Wyatt's song, like I could probably throw those ones on at like any point and just groove to them, but a lot of the stuff on this album, this seems like a thing where you like sit down with it. To me, I like this album a lot, but I don't see myself casually listening to it a lot.
It's a nighttime drive album for me. Like I would never listen to this album. I shouldn't say it. I could listen to half of this album on the way to a show, but I could listen to the whole album leaving a show. Like same songs you just mentioned, like Wyatt's song, like something that has like a driving beat to it.
Yeah.
From this album, I could listen to like get like some energy going and wake up, going to a nighttime comedy show, and then like afterwards, listening to the especially it's a tough thing if you put sad boy suburban music on after you just bombed at a show. You're really inviting the devil into the driver's seat there. You're like, oh no. So sometimes that's got to be like I got to throw on just like Pop Smoke or some kind of rap that's like I'm the greatest person you're ever going to meet to try to get myself out of that funk. Like
yeah, I think that's the same idea. Like that, like listening to music on the way to mics or shows or anything like that is always. I have a weird superstition. I have where I just let the I throw whatever playlist I'm listening to, or usually it's a Discover Weekly. I try to give it. I give Jesus the wheel, and Jesus in this is Spotify, and I say you can pick what's gonna pipe me up before the show. And the only superstition that I have and the only stipulation is I can't skip a song. I have to let the random do.
Oh.
So that's what sets the mood for the evening. So if it's going to be like the only thing I can do is I can cancel a song out. Like if it's a Discover Weekly, I can eliminate it from the list because I love being able to hide a song and never see it again because there's a lot of times I get borderline insulted by Spotify's suggestions.
I'm amazed you trust the algorithm that much. You're putting all your faith in the algorithm.
It's like every other week it'll be like amazing and I'll end up adding like 3 songs to it, but then other times I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Pat is full-fledged ready for fucking Skynet to take over.
Yeah, he's like, take my arms, give me robot arms. I'm good to go.
Tell me what to listen to.
You're gonna be first in line for fucking Neuralink. You're like, shove that in the back of my head, Elon. I'm ready, baby.
Whatever. If I don't even have to drive, if I could just sleep this way, like I don't give a shit.
You just ask you like you guys got all the Descendants preloaded on that Neuralink before you jam it in my skull?
Thank you.
Pipe me in.
That's
Milo's going to the Megaverse.
Milo goes to the Metaverse. That's the new album.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Dude, that is going to be
I also might have just called it the Megaverse, which was maybe even better. They really misnamed that thing.
Yeah, Meta sounds super.
You named it if you needed the Megaverse, I'm there in a heartbeat.
Like it's like kind of. It sounds like literally like it sounds like something literally a gay person would say. Meta. But if you say mega, then at least it sounds like it does like creatine or something.
True.
You know, it's funny. So I wanted to bring this up, and it actually, I was thinking about what you were saying, where about this is good background music, and then I'm like, this for me, it's not passive. But you know what's funny is because I was listening to this album a bunch, and then I was also listening to their other stuff to sort of like give it context. Because to give it context, because then you start realizing there's this like general evolution of the album, and then you start like appreciating it more because like you were talking about how it's a very genuine. The songs are all very genuine. So if they may not be painting a perfect picture, they're still painting like a real picture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like feels. If you know that just feels better than something that's just all fake and perfect. But I don't know what I'm going on a tangent. The real point I'm trying to make is, you know, it was funny, and I'm really curious in your perspective on this, John. Is I was listening to the Upsides today when I was going like grocery shopping and shit for that context, and that one for me actually is a complete reverse because me with my 32-year-old brain and listening to this, you know, very honest, but very fucking, I'm in college and everything happening to me is a problem. I listened to that album. The music, fucking fantastic, because it's that pop punk where they clearly, it's that pop punk music where they clearly listen to like hardcore and they're kind of incorporating those things, you know, shit like that. But then when you listen to the lyrics, there's times where you're like, yo, shut the fuck up, dude. Get the
it's
fuck
just
over
the gang vocal parts are what you're waiting for. You're like, I want to scream a couple gang vocals on my way to Wegmans, and then I want it to be over with. Like, I don't need to hear about you being sad in South Philly, very specifically.
Bro, dude, there's just so many songs that are like, everyone at college is fucking stupid, and and they don't fucking get me. And you're like, okay, dude, you read what was the fucking dude they'd always play at the older shows where like there's a baby bird in my heart. Like it's like, we get it, dude.
Kerouac.
You read Kerouac, you read Bukowski, calm the fuck down. You're balding at 22, dude.
But then he doubles down and he writes a song about his hairline going back, and you're like, damn it.
God damn it. He's so self-aware. But that's
check and mate, damn it.
But at the same time, I'm being funny. You know, if the off chance Dan watches this, you're a real great dude.
He is gonna watch it. He's right next to John right now. He's tied up on the couch.
Yeah, also, can you guys just throw in allegedly after all the things that I said earlier that could be incriminated?
All right, we'll say that after the FBI's done watching this.
Yeah. Okay.
But no. So I joke because that's like I joke because that's like my instinct when I hear those statements as a 32-year-old who's got to pay rent and all this other shit. Where you're like, shut up, you college dork. But at the same time, it goes back to the thing I said, which is why I love his writing so much, is the honesty. And I a lot of times in a world now where we're joking about the metaverse or the megaverse or fuck, dude. You hear how I'm like, fuck, dude. Was it that? Did I get too fucking? I don't know why I talk like this. I'm not from Philly.
Blast me off to a fucking metaverse.
Fuck, dude.
There better be city wides in that fucking metaverse, bro. But no, you know, in this world where everything's like fucking fake, and you go on like you ever see the shit on TikTok where they have the voice to text stuff, but it doesn't just sound like I'm going to the store, and it sounds like a guy fucking talking. And we got AI.
It sounds like an autistic guy. Like they're very close to nailing it. But
yes, dude. And we
got slightly on the spectrum.
We got AI paintings that are okay. We got kids using AI to write book reports and all this other shit. Like,
have you guys talked about FN Mecca, the AI rapper that just got canceled for saying the N-word too much?
Oh yeah. That one was
they put an algorithm in there and it just spit out like a song that was 312 N-words basically.
Well, the part of it that made me
back.
Yeah, dude. It was no, wasn't it voiced by I don't know a lot about that. I
don't know the full story because all of my info I've gotten from it is from podcasts. So I've gotten the giggle news from it.
Yeah, everyone was just like, we got to cancel this AI rapper. And I'm like, I think you guys are focusing on the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the robots want you to do.
They literally can literally cancel an AI rapper though. Can't they just turn it off?
They did. So that's what they did. But then now I guess other rappers started just putting his name in the title of songs. So now it's like piping back into the algorithm.
Like, oh yeah, they're doing that. I remember when rappers started doing that like 5 years ago. They would just for no reason just name a song Miley Cyrus, and then the hook would be like Miley Cyrus, and then they would just go rapping, and it's like, oh, you guys are just taking advantage of that fucking YouTube search, and it's brilliant, and I respect it from a business standpoint.
You can catch my new album. It's called Kanye's new album. Dropping it soon. Like
my new album called Kanye's 7th album.
Yeah.
This episode's called
I got this
Kanye
new album called
Out.
Kanye Suicide.
Ooh.
Kanye Cause of Death. Oh, Queen's Cause of Death. That's the new album.
Yeah.
I'm going to put out there because that's probably been Googled a bunch recently.
I tried to look up Queen body. I figured somebody would have snapped a pic of it, but nope.
No?
Nope, no autopsy.
You got to go on Reddit for that.
I was going to say, Pat, you just took a fucking left turn in your rotten.com search history?
Yeah, I mean, what do you want?
All right. Did you see that old dead bitch?
Nope.
All right. Anyway,
now I understand why people were waiting in line for so long.
It was hard to see.
Yeah, it's hard to see body.
What were we talking about?
Yeah. God, that was more uncomfortable than John Stocking, the lead singer of the band.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it was just a hilarious, like, autistic left turn. We were trying to, like,
didn't want to see it.
Well, no, because structurally, the joke was, what are very searchable terms?
Yeah.
That was the joke structurally. And then you were like, I was looking up her dead body.
Yeah, actually did. I did search that. And it didn't autocorrect, which is weird to me because I was like, what? Nobody else wants to see this?
Where was
Right
it?
after that, you're looking up Queen lookalike porn.
Yeah, it usually goes into porn, usually kind of
Doppelganger Queen.
Whoops.
I want to clarify. I'm not anti that dead lady. It was the flow that threw me
I'm
off.
anti the lack of pictures of her online. But
No, I refuse to kneel to the crown.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Don't forget.
That also might have been a lyric from a song. I don't know. That's my life is all just living off of cool lyrics now.
There was definitely the bell of a ride symbol that hit right after someone fucking growled that.
Yeah.
Ding ding. Yeah. And then fucking someone punches a teenager in the head.
I would say Wonder Years are the perfect. They were the hardcore kid that stood adjacent to the pit and then had one hard stage dive. That is the Wonder Year. That became the Wonder Years.
Oh well, yo. So that reminds me of a funny someone calling me fat in context of the Wonder Years. Because they used to have this tank top.
Did they call you the Thunder Years?
Yes. No. It just crumble. No, they had a tank top that they sold that would be like what they like. I don't know if they used their high school or they would make up some like random high school. And it was supposed to be like a fake jersey and it said stage dive team. And I thought that was a cool. So I got that and my buddy saw that and he's just like, he thought it was real. And he's like, are you kind of, yeah,
damn, I didn't know you were getting recruited.
He's like, are you kind of big to be like stage diving? Like, why would they put you on the team? And I'm like, you think there's a
dude?
team?
I'm just picturing a combine of just fat teens in that tank top, all doing stage dives. Like, it's like a foam pit,
grunting to like climb over a barricade.
Yeah. Did I earn my tank?
Oh yeah, here was the fucking. There it is. There's the fucking shirt.
Where?
I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, and my buddy thought that was real, and he's like, "You're pretty fat."
Wow.
Why would they?
They always had interesting merch, and I respect them on that too. I like when like people venture out. I'm not gonna buy a denim jacket that says the Wonder Years on it, but you know, that's cool that you have it.
Dude, you know what my favorite merch ever, or one of my favorite merch was that Dan? Is he being restless?
Yeah.
The ball gag is rubbing on his chin.
Staring at me with her rain boots on. She wants to go stomp in puddles, which sounds like a lyric from a Wonder Years song.
My daughter, yeah, that's definite. When he starts every verse with like da 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 da, and then like the pause, and then they go back in the song. She was stomping in the rain. Fuck. Oh, the best, and we can wrap it up in a minute so she can get her stomps.
Let your daughter know that we have a podcast.
This is more important. Honey, it's called a podcast. One day you'll thank me.
One day this shit'll buy all the rain boots you fucking want, kid.
You look that brat in the eye and you tell her this is content, sweetie.
Content. Can you even fucking spell that? Anyway,
John, right here.
Oh, sorry. You guys
your family.
If you even
guys
dare
put on a cute rain jacket, and I'll pay more attention to you.
If you even dare to create childhood memories while we're doing this podcast,
I'll do you one better. How about this? That's cute as fuck.
Just tossing a neck pillow.
Why is that there?
For relaxation.
You do too much podcasting today.
She's about to open an umbrella indoors. Isn't that like 7 years bad luck?
I don't know.
See, I mean, more proof that the podcast is better than your kid.
Yeah.
No,
he doesn't even know about luck.
The my favorite shirt, because there was I remember fucking the Devil Wears Prada did it where they had like Reptar on their shirt or something like that.
I had that shirt.
Yeah, and
didn't fit.
a lot of bands would have like the reference, but then create like a design around it. My favorite one ever was Set Your Goals. Just had all the Mega Man characters, and then in gold letters on the bottom, it just said like "Set Your Goals." And I'm like, that's more of a Mega Man shirt.
That's just plagiarism.
That's just a Mega Man shirt that just says your band name at the bottom. Like it was like the chunk of the shirt was Mega Man.
Yeah.
And it was just at the very
Survive did that with they did an Eagles hoodie that looks like this, and it was just literally the Eagles eagle, and it just said Circa Survive in the Eagles font, and you're like, you're just doing the Eagles, but at the same time, I was like, yo, dude, that's checking 2 boxes for me. I'm gonna get that. I love it. Toss something in the old Phillies font, I'll buy it in a second.
I like to. I had a comeback. I still have a comeback kid koozie that's in the shape of the Winnipeg Jets old logo.
Oh, I love. Yeah, that was a good tee.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, I saw an Eagle shirt that you're probably gonna want to get. What was the fucking thing going around that was like the phrase that was trending where it was just like
Nick.
Yeah, no, it was
fuck around and find out.
No, it was no one likes no, and I want to fucking get this shirt. It just says no one likes us, we don't care.
Yeah.
I saw that
from Jason Kelsey saying. I think it's so funny. They stole that from the Philadelphia Union, the soccer team. They just straight up stole it from like their fans. Jason Kelsey did, and the Eagles fans are just like, "This is ours now, thank you."
That's great.
People watch our sport. We're gonna make sure you get a little bit.
We are actually on TV.
Yeah, people pay for
it. No, that is a good show. That's what I hate about Philly stuff too, though, is everything like they do these like City Connect jerseys or something like in the NBA and MLB. And it's always eventually just going to end up saying brotherly love on the front of a jersey. And you're like, the Sixers just released one that just says brotherly love in cursive. And you're like, I can't get that. That's like, that's terrible.
That's not true.
Just have it say Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
No, that is a good point. It's not true.
Steaks.
They're very, Philly people are very hostile.
This was early in comedy. I was like, I want to make merch that just says City of Brotherly Shove. This will be hilarious. That sums it up better. It's your brothers. You like each other, but you're going to beat the shit out of each other.
Give me that hardcore jersey. Like,
all right, stage type team.
Or NJHC.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so glad I didn't fall into the realm of getting those tattoos like a bunch of other South Jersey hardcore kids I know that got them. Just a big like 856 belly rocker. Oh, it's so bad.
Dude, there's a lot of things that especially growing up in the internet age where there's like still pictures of you of all doing all that shit. There's a bunch of shit. I was just talking to someone about this where I was like, thank Christ I was not fucking attractive in high school, because I would have been doing every swooshy hair, fucking eyelinery emo shit under the goddamn. I know I would have been.
Yeah.
Dude. Like tight pants, eyelinery emo shit that there was under the sun. But I was just like, anytime I did it, I was just like, nah. Because I was more like, if it would have made sense, I would have done it. But I knew I was going to be the guy that everyone was like, nah, you're not close enough to that.
You're really leaning in.
Yeah, you look like you look like the version of this that if like this was in a movie and we wanted to make fun of it, that's the version you're gonna look like.
Yeah.
Not the cool version. You look like the fucking, when they make
you were a meme before memes were a thing. You were just being
when they wanted to make Scary Movie 7 and they wanted to make fun of emo kids in it, that's what I was gonna look like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was always like one foot in on like the indie punk rock, pop punk kid thing. And then I also played baseball in high school. So I had this like weird mix of like, I had to like ride the line between the two. So that's why like pop punk and like being like an indie rock kid was perfect, because all you did, you wore thrift store t-shirts, you wore jeans that weren't super tight, and you just tried to dress like the Get Up Kids was like your goal. Or like, you're like, I'm going to wear whatever Brand New's wearing on their album cover. Like, that's modern enough. You could still wear Hollister, but it's, it's just a little bit more plaid to it.
Sum 41 was.
I watched the OC.
Sum 41 and Blink-182 where I took my fashion advice for, and that was pretty simple. You get a pair of Dickies, a band shirt, and like either skater shoes or fucking Converse or Vans.
Yeah.
That was an easy one to hit up.
Yeah. I always it's so funny. I wear pretty much just Vans now just because it's nice and simple.
Yeah.
But like, I was always too nervous to wear them in high school because like I tried to skate and I sucked at it. And then I was just like, well, I'm just the whatever kid. And I'm like, I can't wear Vans because then I'm a poser. So then I was just wearing like New Balance, whatever random number that was like close enough to a skate shoe, but wasn't like, I was like, I'll be skate shoe adjacent basically.
Hell yeah. God, dude, remember how much not being a poser mattered?
Oh yeah. How much you cared about it?
Dude, that would fucking... Dude, I remember someone gave me like a band. Was that bringing it back to fucking Slipknot? This dude gave me his Slipknot hoodie. I forget why. And it like fucking fit really well and it looked good. And the first thing I did was I ran to Barnes and Noble to buy a Slipknot album to make sure I could like make references.
Yeah.
You might be the first person to be in a Barnes and Noble and a Slipknot fan.
Hey, dude, I'm fucking just trying to make changes wherever I can. I'm trying to
be credible with this Slipknot shirt to the Barnes and Noble.
I think it was the closest CD at the time because I was at high school.
You passed 3 Best Buys.
I was at high school. There's cheese on your chin. I was at high school and they didn't.
Thank you. I've been eyeing up this string cheese the whole time. I'm like, I'm just gonna eat it.
It's like hand temperature now. It's like fucking 98 degrees.
I like that. No, I love
that. I like my cheese.
I like getting string cheese to a body temp.
All right, we're talking about our favorite temp of cheese, so I think that's a good point to wrap it up on this shit.
I like that cheese right there. Warm cheese is good.
So you like that cheese? How much would you say you like this new album? Yes, perfect segue.
On a scale of warm or cold cheese?
Yes, John. On a scale of cold being your least favorite cheese, warm being your favorite cheese, what's the temp and cheese on this album for you?
It's not melted warm, but it is. Okay. It's good. It might have sat in the car for a little bit. Ooh. On like not necessarily a hot, like a mild September day. So it caught some sun, but not too much.
Okay, so
still
John,
very enjoyable.
John, if I could just clarify this with you, because to the average person, cheese left in a car is a bad thing, but apparently that's good to you.
So
you're trying to say it's a good album?
Yes, it's a great album.
New Wonder Years is basically car cheese. You heard it here first. John Montague. The Wonder Years are car cheese. All right, John, let people know what your shit is before we get out of here.
You can find me buying Polly string cheese at Costco way too frequently.
At Dan's house
you can find me wherever Dan lives. If you know, let me know.
You can find me at Dan's pantry, figure out what cheese has, so I can put that cheese in my car.
I think he's a polio guy.
But your podcast was fucking stupid hot guys, idiots. Fucking retards.
Stupid hot guys.
Dumb fucking beautiful men.
Dumb idiot fucking hot pieces of shit.
Handsome morons. No, handsome idiots. We're introducing video tonight, finally for the first time.
Gross.
We got a nice fella named Jay coming by to film us, and handsome idiots, Montague comedy. Hacks Comedy Golf. You can go back and watch all the classics that Pat and I put out.
Oh, yeah.
Andy is on one.
Those are fucking fun, dude.
That was very fun. We need to bring it back. Pat, move down here. Stop living Nowhereville.
Okay.
There's tons of attics with plenty of space for cat posters down here in the greater Philadelphia area.
Houses that I can afford down there, I think, are not exactly the places that I can survive physically.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Eat more cheese.
All right, you heard it here first. Pat, fucking just wherever you move, make sure there's cheese, dude.
Make sure there's cheese.
Yeah, warm cheese.
Hell yeah. All right, John, thanks for fucking hanging out, dude. You're the best.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Peace.